Hello, I'm your host, Anna Clements, and this is Audiobooks with Anna. In this episode, we chat with Anna Alcasas Collins. Anna graciously joined us and talked about taking over the running of VOAtlanta and the excitement of coordinating a conference with so many speakers and so much going on. Welcome to the Audiobooks Club and to Clubhouse.
Thank you very much.
I tried to do some searching about you before we started today, and there wasn't a lot to be found with regards to sort of conversations or interviews, or there was a single room here that you'd done previously on Clubhouse. And it was through that I thought I'd like to have a conversation with you, really just to find out more about you, about who you are, what you're up to, and what we need to know.
Okay.
So, without further ado, tell us about your background, if you will, where you're from, and what your heritage is, I guess.
Okay. So I am Dutch and American, and I'm born and raised most of my life in Europe. And my father is Mexican and part Native American. My mother is Dutch and Swiss, so kind of a very international heritage, I guess you could say.
Yeah, very much so.
Yes. And I began my corporate life in Amsterdam, in Holland, doing company administration, and kind of had about a 20-year career, both in company administration, HR, everything from real estate development, and then also, of course, facility management for a number of years. And in that time, I've also done a great deal of company events, organized company events, attended company events, and kind of went from there. And of course, me being married to J. Michael Collins, we started working together in a professional way about 8 years ago after I left my last corporate job, and started building a new brand. And actually, after the birth of our son, we started organizing the Euro VO retreats. And I've also been attending VOAtlanta for a number of years. We've actually attended as platinum sponsors for a number of years in different venues of VOAtlanta. And when the opportunity arose, we really wanted to continue this amazing conference and also kind of take it to the next level, we hope. And that's why we were in a position to purchase the conference. And we hope that it will continue for many years to come. And it's been under my company now, which is Anna Collins Events, which has just been launched officially recently. And yeah, that's where we are at the moment, in the middle of planning and putting it all together. And we also have a Eurovia retreat happening in May in Holland, which will be the first one there. It'll be the 9th Eurovia retreat that we've done so far.
I'm going to have to back up, because for anyone who doesn't know, J. Michael Collins is a very well-known voiceover and voiceover coach, has an amazing sort of coaching company and helps people out with demos and all sorts of things. Anna, just for your sake, as audiobook narrators, J. Michael Collins doesn't really influence our lives as much as he might. You know, the long-form narration, I guess, the corporate and e-learning type stuff, we might have come across him, but mostly the sort of the commercial, the promo, the everything else isn't necessarily part of our world. So for anyone listening,
yes, that's also why we're very excited to bring back the audiobook actually to VOAtlanta, which will be led by Scott Brick. I'm sure as many of you know who he is. He is truly an honor to have him at the conference. He's actually organizing, as part of course, the general registration, but also like a subset of that would be having the audiobooks, having them back again, which we're really excited to have. And we're really thrilled that he has agreed to help us and ensure that we organize the right program. And he is actually taking charge of that at VOAtlanta.
So let's back up and talk a bit more about the Anna Collins Events Company. Tell me what it is you liked enough about corporate events to feel like you wanted to put yourself on the other side and actually start organizing them.
Well, I've actually organized corporate events for quite a number of years. And I've also attended many, conferences, trade shows, corporate training, seminars, and also just having been through that from a corporate side, I've realized also that there's many elements of a corporate conference that are just quite, how do I put this, not very friendly, not very open.
Yes.
And also, frankly, quite sterile. Like you have a name card, you have a business card, you meet people for drinks, you walk around. And frankly, being in Marriott, no offense to Marriott or any other hotel, any hotel, Hilton, Marriott, whatever you want to call it, conference room B, waiting for the person presenting on the stage to finish so you can finally go do something else. wasn't really like, I think having been to many of those conferences over my corporate career, I was like, if we're going to do something like this, I want to make sure that it's has an element of fun to it, that it actually has an element of like actually treating adults, not like school children, and also giving people a bit more of a relaxed environment as well as a much more interactive environment. So it's not just, hello, my name is so and so, but actually I think that's what's so unique about the voiceover community is that it's so supportive and it's so amazing, and the talent we have and the talent that is in this community is just astounding, which is also why we really wanted to make sure that we create the right space, because I myself, personally, I find that I learn and absorb much more when I'm relaxed, when I'm not stressed, when I'm not in an environment that it makes me feel uncomfortable. I find I've been able to relax more and also, meet more people and absorb a lot more of what is actually being taught or what is actually being shared. And the presenters we are blessed to have and honored to have at VOAtlanta that have signed up so far, having seen them in action at our VO retreats, has just been, how incredible they are, and the amazing strides that people can take in their careers when they are supported, when they are given the right information, and also when they're in the right environment to feel like they can have the confidence to take that next step. And being a part of creating that is just something that I'm absolutely thrilled to do, in spite of the many long hours it's taking to plan, of course. But we are very, very blessed to have an incredible team. And I have an amazing advisory board of some amazing women in the voiceover community who've really been supportive of our venture. And yeah, the positivity and just, to see where everyone's going to take their careers next and to be part of that story is truly an honor for me, and one of the biggest reasons why I like to do what I do.
We talk here a lot about the importance of surrounding yourself with good, supportive people.
Yes.
Changes your outlook and your mental health, if nothing else, and also your opportunities. Your ability to see new paths and take more steps forward in your career.
Exactly.
We mentioned last year, as it was the last VOAtlanta he would be doing, there were conversations had everywhere, I'm sure, but we had one here in this room whereby we acknowledged how important it was for that sort of place to continue. The conference was a really important part of the VO community.
Definitely.
And was obviously a huge undertaking that Gerald had been doing, that it would be silly for somebody not to take advantage. Was this something that you had anticipated, having attended VOAtlanta a couple of times before? Did you, when Gerald announced that he wasn't going to carry on anymore, did you just see that as a natural progression?
Yes, we have actually been, as we said, platinum supporters. J. Michael Collins, JMC Demos has been, and I've of course been part of that team. When we discussed it, I was just like, well, like you said, it's such an important conference to the voiceover community, and we really wanted to continue it. Of course, had many discussions, and yeah, we're very thrilled that we were able to have that opportunity.
Can I ask what you feel was really important for you to change, to put your mark on VOAtlanta after what has been a very successful run for the conference so far?
I think in many ways the parts of the conference will definitely remain the same. I think the voiceover community is very unique, so we wanted to make sure that we got it right, which is why I was very blessed that some incredible women in the voiceover industry have agreed to be my advisory board, and we had many meetings with them, and I was blessed to have and honored to have them on the board to be able to give me the right advice to make sure that whatever improvements we could make, we did. This includes women who are agents, who are in branding, who are in voiceover themselves, who are also presenters themselves. So we could get all different perspectives and all different inputs to make sure that we put the right stamp on it. I think a lot of it has to do with making it a really user-friendly experience from beginning to end, and that we think of as many convenient and easy ways to ensure that everybody gets the maximum amount of what they can out of the conference experience, and also that we create a really fun and inviting atmosphere. And also that there'll be little touches, but I can't really reveal all those yet because I want some things to be a surprise.
No,
But
absolutely. I'm trying at the moment to put up the link for everyone at the top of the page in a second, as soon as I get my act together, so that people can actually go and see, because the schedule is out, isn't it? They
is,
have actually
yes. The
announced.
schedule is out, and tickets have been selling really well. And we have an amazing, like I said, we have an amazing audiobook presentations being taking place. We also have the children's department coming back. We have the Latin group as well coming back. So we're trying to make it as international and all-inclusive as possible, and also as, again, make it more of a really user-friendly experience. So that I know, having been myself at many big conferences, it can feel overwhelming if suddenly there's hundreds of people in a room. But we're trying to make sure that we take care of everyone the best we can, and also creating spaces where people can network. And also, for example, I think someone mentioned too, we're also having lots of coffee in the morning. That's very important for many people. So people can also continue networking while they're getting a cup of coffee in the morning or tea, or making sure we have really good spaces, a really good schedule. And yeah, it's coming together. It's been the JMC Demos team has been working really hard with my company, of course, as well, and my assistant, who is Jessica Matheson, who is absolutely stellar. And it's just been amazing to watch, the pieces start coming together slowly. So
Talk to us then a second about how anything like this comes together, because you must have been working on this for a long time, and often people say that they before the following year they're already working on the next year.
Yes, we actually started working on it is very much a long process. As I said, we're doing some new things as well for VOAtlanta. So we wanted to support local businesses. So we'll be dealing with local vendors there and trying to find the right vendor to partner with for all different aspects of the conference has been a task. We actually started having meetings with them in June of last year to have everything lined up, and then making sure the deposits and everything too were paid before the end of 2022 in order to make sure that we had everything lined up for 2023. So yes, it's definitely, we've been in discussions with the Hilton since last April, which is just shortly after the last VOAtlanta conference finished. I was actually meetings with them within a month of VOAtlanta actually ending. So yes, it's a long process.
Talk to us then, if you can, about, a lot of people here don't know about VOAtlanta. It's not a particularly audiobook specific conference that we think about, but I am aware that there are a lot of audiobook narrators who live in the Atlanta area who may
Yes.
want to go along. And I know there are lots of opportunities. I'm there all 4 days,
Right.
but there are lots of opportunities for different days, different
Yes.
sessions.
Yes,
Can
absolutely.
you talk us through that?
Well, the main sessions actually start on the 23rd of March, and it will go. So Thursday would be the opening ceremonies in the afternoon, registration, opening ceremonies in the evening. Friday will be the keynote, which is Deborah Wilson. She is absolutely incredible. We were so lucky to get our first choice of keynote. And then it goes into full day sessions on Friday and full day sessions on Saturday. And then Sunday is the closing ceremonies and of course, the Unicorn Award. We have everything. I'm sure if you have a look at the schedule, you could see how packed it is. We sent out all the invitations to all the presenters early on, of course, and so lucky that that so many of them agreed to come and share their knowledge, share their expertise, share their passions. And again, Scott Brick for audiobooks, we were so lucky that he is coming as well, with Susan Freeman and other audiobook people. And he's actually assembling an amazing group of people as well to do specifically audiobooks. And we also have an amazing, Martha Khan is heading up the children's group. Valentina Latina is heading up our Latin group. So we're definitely trying to make it for not just one genre, one area, but pretty much in everything. We're having different panels to discuss everything, from voiceover awards to other parts of the industry, and we have a big range of demo producers, and yeah, we're just trying to make sure that it's as inclusive as possible. Plus, we have an exhibitor hall and many great sponsors that'll also be there on the ground showing video, everything from booths to branding to all kinds of. I mean, it's really hard for me to describe it all in one short call. But if you have a look at the schedule, it's definitely been a task to put that together.
Yeah.
And of
I will,
course,
if you don't mind, I will just list the people that are actually going to be working at the audiobook section of the conference, because
Yes,
the other
please.
half of the conference is enormous, and I can't even begin to list those people. But I'm going to list these 9, which is Scott Brick, Johnny Heller, Sean Pratt, Hilary
Yes.
Huber, Vikas Adam, January Lavoie, Will Damron, Suzanne Freeman, William
Yes.
Demerit, and we have
Yes.
our very own Tuesday girls. I'm sure they won't appreciate me calling them that, but they're the girls who run the Tuesday Clubhouse Room.
Oh, wonderful.
Stephanie Nemeth Parker, Nikki Zaycox, and Amanda Stribling will also be there. So it's certainly a great place to gather. And I think, as I said, anybody who lives in the area. There are also tickets available for the first 2 days and for the weekend separately.
Yes.
So you can buy all sorts of things. So the link is at the top of the page if anybody wants to take a look and see sort of how it works and what it all means.
Yes.
People are shouting in the comments about I love Valentina and January Lavoie, hooray!
We are certain. I mean, when you asked me to list, I was like, wow, we have about I want to say off the top of my head about 80 to 85 presenters taking part in VOAtlanta.
Talk to me,
Some of them.
Anna, about the logistics for that, because you must have a team of. I mean, I struggled to do my own invoicing, so
Actually, for the presenters, it's just J. Michael Collins, myself, and my assistant Jessica Matheson, who have been taking care of all of it at the moment. So
this
it's
sounds like
been
a full-time, all-year-round job just to do this one thing. How do you guys do anything else?
I guess it's multitasking. I think most women and men, of course, know what that's like when you're trying to do many things at once. I also have a 6-year-old at home, so it's not. That's also another job, which of course I love. But yeah, it's just we're very lucky that we have a great teamwork together, and not without its issues. We do our best, and it is a lot of long days, yes. But at the same time, I think it's so many people have been so positive, and the reaction we've had to Anna Collins events and JMC demos taking over has been so positive, and also kind of what drives us to to work the late nights, to take the late calls, to help sort out any issues that we have, and make sure that we really put on a really truly memorable conference that people will want to come back to, and of course that will continue to grow and to evolve as the voiceover industry continues to change and evolve too, and keep up with that. So
I personally want to thank you, because it's thanks to people like you that the rest of us can attend, because the idea of actually organizing that kind of thing doesn't fill me with joy. So for the work
I'm one
you
of
put
those
in.
crazy people who likes to organize and has a lot of spreadsheets kind of lives for the chaos a little bit. So
Absolutely.
it's truly an honor to be in this position and to be able to put this together. And we have such a hardworking team around us, and such an amazing advisory board, that it's really what drives us to continue to not only make this a great conference, but make it a truly special one, and continue to help it to grow. And the voiceover community, I've been in the corporate world for many years. I know how unkind it can be. I know how cold it can be, and how calculating, and not always the best working environments. But the voiceover community that I've been a privilege to be part of since I met my husband has truly just embraced, everything about, and everybody's so supportive of each other, and it's just such an amazing community. So that's why I'm just honored to be part of it in this way, and want to make sure that, as incredible as this talent is, and it just never fails to amaze me when organizing whether it's this conference or the EuroVO retreats. It's just been an honor, and I really do consider it a privilege. As much work as it is, it's a privilege, and we want to make sure we get it right. That's very important.
Yeah. I'm going to come on to the VO retreats, because I'm sure people are interested to talk about that. But I must just do a room reset and let people know that we're chatting today with Anna Collins, who's here with her company, Anna Collins Events, who organizes the VOAtlanta conference that's coming up at the end of March, and also the VO retreats in Europe, which is always exciting. If you have any questions, do come up and join us. Please do, let us know your thoughts or what you want to chat about. I just want to comment that I was a speaker in the 2021 2021 VOAtlanta Spanish section.
Great.
There is a huge Spanish section this year again,
Yes.
because it's a hugely interesting part of the industry, and with
It
the
really is.
saturation of the English industry, I think
Yes.
it's a big growing market. Do you speak other languages, Anna? Is that something you're interested in with your international background?
I speak Dutch because, of course, I'm born there, and I speak some French. Not super well, but enough to get around the basics. And I speak a tiny, tiny few words of German because it's similar to Dutch, and I spent about a year in Germany when I was 13. But mostly Dutch and English is pretty good. Of course, English is fine. Dutch is about close second, and French would be third.
Wonderful. Where are you based with all this international travel and your Euro retreats? Are you based in the US?
We have a house in the US. Yes, we actually have a house in Maryland, which is actually currently where my husband is. And I'm currently in our smaller house in Luxembourg, which is bordered by Belgium, Germany, and France. So tiny little country. You really have to expand Google Maps to find it. Yeah, so we still have a little house here. So I'm currently there as our son goes to school here in Europe at the moment.
Oh. If anybody else does have a question, or Danielle, if you wanted to put your question in the chat, I'd be happy to read it out. I just must comment that Laura English says she went to VOAtlanta in 2019. It was a very worthwhile investment. And yes, APAC has moved to March this year, so it's caused problems for a lot of us. I'm leaving on the Sunday morning to race to New York to then do the Monday in New York. So it's a whirlwind.
Yes.
Yes, quite the adventure.
Yes, it is.
Talk to us then a moment about the VO retreats. I know you've done several of them and in lots of gorgeous places. Can you tell us perhaps how that first came about and how it's expanded and changed over the last few years? Because you must have refined it beautifully, I'm sure.
Well, we've done this one coming up in May will be number 9. The Eurovia retreat started with an idea with my husband, actually, initially, and he asked me, and he also asked in Facebook, I think, just a poll kind of saying, hey, if we were to organize like a nice villa somewhere in Europe and do some great trainings, would anybody want to come? And the comments were immediately very positive. So we set about, my husband and I had been to Barcelona not long before that. It's a beautiful place. And we decided to try to find something in that area. And we were able to find a place called Villa Blanca, which is a 100-year-old 14-room, actually 15-room villa. And they had a private chef that we could hire. And we kind of just put it together ourselves, just literally me and him, and brought our son along. And we had a friend who helped me out a little bit with some of the babysitting with him because Tom was maybe not even a year old. And yeah, just either said this is going to be great and then I had some different ideas. I'm like, if we're going to do this, I want to make it not just informative, but also really fun and kind of give people the freedom to have an open bar and have a great chef and have snacks on hand and have they can come join a session or they could not join a session. And we have people there who went to every session. Some people came to a few sessions. And then we have a pool and it had a basketball court and it had beautiful gardens and it was a 10-minute walk from the beach. So it was kind of just giving people the freedom to experience the European city, but also the presenters were just in the lounge or in the library or sitting outside together to teach people. And then also just the camaraderie that happened was such a surprise. It was more than just, you got to not just attend a session, but you have dinner with people. They had a ping pong table and they had ping pong tournaments late at night. And then they had late night conversations. We had a premium open bar that didn't close.
So always a draw, isn't it?
And then we had a karaoke machine, and it had a grand piano, and had a chapel, and it had a hidden escape route which people got to go into like underneath the chapel, and it was just. Yeah, it's just such and we also went to like a little local restaurant on the beach, and people got to hang out on the beach, and it was just by the end of it was like, wow, we had the request like when's the next one, and so we started planning the next one.
And how many people? How many people is it that you have? Is there a limit to a cap to the numbers? Or
there is a limit. Yes, it's usually no more than 20 to 25 participants, and usually we have about 7 or 8 presenters present, plus spouses can also come as well. So our biggest group we've usually had is, I think, a maximum of like 35 to 38 people is usually the absolute maximum. In Barcelona, we usually try to cap it at like 20 people, no more than 20, because it's a smaller venue. Other ones are hotels or bigger chateaus. They can have more people on site. Plus, we have a couple staff members, a couple volunteers who also are there to help during the week.
So you're almost selling it more as a take advantage of a European tour and do things for your business for people.
Yeah, and I
Can
think
I ask how different it is to organize something so much smaller and so much more intimate?
it's just very different. The Eurovia retreats are obviously very luxurious and also take a tremendous amount of logistics individually for every single person that comes. Plus, we try to take into account all of their dietary requests, all of their travel arrangements, all of their tours that they need, for example, in the immediate area. It's much more hands-on, and it's just very different. But obviously, we're trying to do the same quality with the conference that of course my company and JMC Demos is running now, as we're both co-owners of VOAtlanta, as I'm the CEO and he's co-owner. But I think we try to make sure that whatever we do, it's always first class and always about quality, as opposed to trying to make a big profit or anything. To the actual experience comes before anything else.
And I must just ask, does Tom participate? Is this something you kind of do as a family? And are you able to?
Tom has come to 2 of the retreats, but of course now he's in grade school, and it doesn't always usually fall during school vacation. So we usually have the grandparents step in when we're away. That is hard. He has come to a couple of them when he was really small, both one when he was 1 and one when he was almost 3. But now that he's in the grade school and he has school activities and everything too, it's a little harder to take him with us. We did take him to, for example, to the One Voice conference in Dallas. So we try to include him whenever we can. But aside from that, he's usually in school, and we try to keep up with make sure he has good attendance in school. For during his February vacation, school vacation, we'll actually be back at our house in the U.S. for about 10 days, and he, of course, will come along.
What is it you think makes an event? I appreciate you don't want to give us away your secrets, but you mentioned in the other talk that I said I'd listened to that, as you said, people had mentioned that they needed more coffee. Everybody always needs coffee. And I'm aware that you mentioned a quiet lounge, which
Yes.
for those of us who are audiobook narrators tend to be a little more introverted than some of the other VOs who maybe do the promo and the crazy radio stuff. I use the term crazy very loosely. And I wonder where that idea came from, because I love the idea of a quiet space and a quiet lounge.
Part of it actually came from the advisory board. I was asking the women who are part of my advisory board, saying, we'd love to hear what would help, this. And someone mentioned to me, one of the women said, I know that many, not just audiobook, but many other voiceover artists, it's overwhelming to go from like being in your studio, in your personal home or in your office, to suddenly being in a room with hundreds of other people. So we kind of wanted to create both a space where people could, and also just, I've seen myself how overwhelming that conference can be for other people. And I've been there myself. We had a booth, and other people have mentioned to me in person, even just when I was there at the booth presenting, promoting JMC demos. They said, "Oh, it's my first time here. I'm kind of just a little lost, trying to there wasn't really anywhere that people could go to just take a breath, for example, except, of course, their rooms, but then they kind of miss out on, or they only have like 10, 15 minutes. So part of what my ideas were to make a really great event is about having the best customer experience you can. It's kind of about creating the best experience you can for because we see every one of people coming as one of our clients, one of my company clients, one of JNC Demos clients. We want to make sure that that experience is as smooth as possible. Now, again, it's not all going to be perfect. This is our first time, so we're going to try to get it as right as we can, but try to make sure that there is enough volunteers to help people. For example, making sure that there's floor plans printed and schedules printed for people who prefer not to look at everything on their phone. Having a quiet lounge, as well as having like a communal work table so people could also charge their laptops and charge their phones. Having coffee stations, having water and iced tea during the day, just because, standing in line at the Hilton has one small coffee shop with one barista who works so hard to try to get everybody the coffee, which is just impossible when you have that many people. Making sure that we take as many things into account as possible during the event, that everybody gets, like we said, making it as inclusive as possible for all different genres, all different areas of voiceover. And yeah, just creating a really great space, and also just making it a really as much of an informative experience, also make some fun things and fun activities there as well. So I think part of the event is when you leave, not only learning something, but also feeling like you made new friends, you made new contacts, you had a new network of people to get information from or help, request tips from. I think a really great event shows that it feels like you're there with friends, and we want to make sure that people feel as relaxed and happy and as taken care of as possible. And I think that, to me, if we can pull it off, I'd be very, very happy. So that's what we're
You'll
working
be glad to hear that
towards.
we've already got Jamie Hill in the chat saying she wants to get to Atlanta, and Honey, St. Dennis, and Laura English are planning a road trip. So who
Wonderful.
knows? You may have 3 more on your list.
Great.
I must just comment for those listening, just a quick resume again. We're talking to Anna Collins from Anna Collins Events, organising VOAtlanta at the end of March in Atlanta. It's got a huge audiobook section this year, which I'm very excited about, and is the 4 days before APAC in New York. Just for anybody who doesn't know, the event begins Thursday evening, runs all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then Sunday morning through till sort of lunchtime when they have the closing ceremony. But during the Thursday and Sunday, and the Friday and Saturday, there are X sessions. So you sign up to the conference and you can do a Thursday, Friday ticket, a Saturday, Sunday ticket, or all 4 days. You then can attend all of the breakout sessions, which are listed in an incredibly well. I've had to print out the paperwork and then make my own collage of flow charts of trying to work out where I'm going and who I'm going to listen to. Because, as Anna mentioned, there is a huge quantity of voice artists and coaches and so on speaking about their specific area. And then there are these X sessions, which you can then go into with a much smaller group of 10 or 12 people, I think it is, where you'll get obviously 3 hours of sort of one-on-one, watching a very small group of people working on something very specific. And again, sort of very well laid out and planned out. Is your expertise in this kind of rearrange? It's almost like seating plans at a wedding, isn't it? There's a mindset, I feel, goes into the wanting to be able to put all these pieces of a puzzle together. Is that how you see it?
Yes. Yes, it's and also I'm very blessed to have an amazing partner with my husband, of course, Jim Michael Collins, who has also put a tremendous amount of effort into the scheduling and working with the presenters and the sponsors. So we've been able to teamwork really well together on this. And of course, we have an amazing assistant, Jessica Matheson, and also Lynn Norris, who has been working tirelessly with graphics. And I also got to say that to Joe Davis and Karen Barth, who've been our incredible website people. So it takes a great amount of team effort to put all this together, but at the same time, having a backup as well and just, working hard towards the right goal, I think that makes all the difference in the world.
Wonderful. I must also mention that you mustn't forget, as a listener, that although audiobook narration is what we do and enjoy, long form narration also includes e-learning, corporate narration, and that's what this conference opens up. It sort of allows you to dip into other areas of the voiceover world without kind of committing too much before you find out what you've let yourself in for. And they've got so many wonderful, Angan Gutzer's there, Judy Wilson,
Yeah.
all the long form narration people who I
Yeah.
adore and I'm signing up for, as well
They're
as
really amazing.
obviously, yeah, as well as all the audiobook people and all the sound guys. There's information about, tech and, well, the list is endless. And as I mentioned, it's at the top of the
Yeah.
page.
I mean,
If
we're
anybody,
also, the
sorry.
one thing we're doing new this year as well, we've also, on top of all the presenter things, we've also added Kelly Labika, who was Vince Labika's wife, and she is actually a financial advisor. And also, we've asked her to give a presentation about the business aspects of VO. So it could be anything from taxes, investments, all kinds of information, like when you're starting out, what's good to invest in for equipment or for tax deductions or anything too. And we're really, she again is coming to present something that's something that they haven't had before yet at VOAtlanta. Something we really wanted to also include for people who might just be starting out, saying, okay, I'm starting out, how do I do this, and how, for tax purposes. And it's literally geared specifically to the voiceover industry. So I would also, she's amazing. I've had the pleasure to meet her at one of our Eurovia retreats, and that's kind of where the idea came in. Is like, hey, we could really use this at VOAtlanta. People could know, like, hey, how do you set up a business? How do you do this? What's the tax deductions? What can you, all kinds of information. So
Yeah, the paperwork side of the business is a really important one, isn't it? And it's
yes,
something that people find that it's an absolute minefield sometimes. So if you have specific questions on that as well, or thoughts that you want to investigate,
right,
certainly very worthwhile. And as I said, I think the thing I like about VOAtlanta is that although it isn't an audiobook conference, it is such an all-inclusive conference that it's almost an opportunity not to be missed, to be able to take advantage of every single area of the industry.
Right, and also just to kind of, I've seen this happen before, even at the conference and even at the retreats as well. From being a sponsor of the conference and being there several times, as people come up with new ideas, like, oh wow, I could actually do this. I didn't know I could branch into this area. I could go into this area. This is great. And then they follow up with, or they meet other people that say, oh, like we could work together and we could do this together. And oh, I live in that area. Oh, that's great. And then it's been amazing to watch the networks kind of grow from there, because you have not only something at the conference, but then also afterwards, you have an amazing group of people who you say, "Oh, I met you at the conference. Great. Oh yeah, let's catch up, or let's have dinner when I'm in town, or let's collaborate on this, or hey, do you have a good suggestion for that?" And it's amazing. It's just a truly amazing industry, and it's very unique, and that's why I'm really excited to put this together. So
absolutely, it is a fabulous. Something we say very often in this industry is how very welcoming and sharing everybody is,
yeah,
and how very much we enjoy it because of that.
yes.
We've been joined by Craig. Craig, thank you so much for coming up to the sofa and joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing great. So yeah, I was actually in the audience at the wrap up at VOAtlanta last year. Steve Corona, who was in the audience, is there too, and it was just amazing because for example, had just gotten into taking audiobook narration seriously, and saw that VOAtlanta had the Audiobook Academy track. And then I was kind of on the fence, and then I heard it was going to be the last one, and I was like, well, I've got to commit to this. And so spent the whole weekend. Everybody was wondering, this is a great thing. It's sad that it's not going to be around. And Steve and I were actually in the bar with Gerald the night before, and we were, what can you tell us? What's going to happen? And he's like, well, you just have to wait and see. And his ability not to say, wink at us or give us a smile about stay tuned. And so the fact that it was a well kept secret, of that magnitude, kudos to all of you. I don't know if there were only 3 people that knew for sure what was going on, but it seemed like a big secret to keep. And the other thing I wanted to mention was when J. Michael introduced you as the new CEO, he threw in, not only my wife, but a woman, where we need more women leadership, and not just my wife who's a woman, but a wife who's a woman who also knows how to run an event. And so, I recall when people asked Paul McCartney, is Linda in your band as a keyboard player just because she's your wife or because she's a great keyboard player? And he said, look, she's my wife. She's a keyboard player. I want her with me. I don't know if J. Michael has had to answer that question, but certainly there's no question in any of our minds that he chose the right person. So,
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
yeah,
It has been I've loved doing events for a long time, and to be able to have this opportunity, especially with something as special as VOAtlanta, has just been, an honor. And truly, like keeping it a secret was for several reasons. And it wasn't that we were trying to deceive anybody. It was more that we wanted to honor Gerald by letting him finish his conference, and it was still his conference until the very end, and we wanted to respect that. And we
absolutely.
also didn't want to be flooded with tons of questions, or have people kind of be distracted by what's happening, or or get flooded with us during the conference of like all the different questions, or that kind of be the focal point, as opposed to honoring Gerald's legacy in this conference and making sure that we respected that. And that was also one of the reasons why we wanted to wait until the end of the conference to kind of have the announcement. It wasn't that we were trying to be sneaky or something. It was more out of respect to to have him finish his conference, and that was what we wanted to do, to respect him because of that.
Yeah, and that's absolutely a stand-up thing to do and very professional. And unfortunately, I won't be able to make it this year in person due to scheduling, but I will probably do the virtual option so that I have at least have access to it, because I can tell that it was a great conference when Gerald was running it, and I'm sure it's going to be even better
Oh, well,
with you
thank you.
and Jay Michael. So kudos to both of you, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Craig. And I must just read you a message from Anna Scott in the chat that says, in the wake of the last few years, do you have any plans to make events like this more accessible? I know there are lots of folks who are unable to travel out of state for various reasons, maybe a virtual ticket to tune in live for certain things. Is that something that's available or that could happen? Or
We're still working on that. The demand, though, for virtual has been very, very negligible at the moment. We haven't really had the demand for streaming option, for example, for this year. We do have a replay option, for example. So we do have that available, like with all the sessions being going to be videoed, as will the opening ceremony and the keynote and the closing ceremony will all be videoed. And those will be available for replay after the conference is done. Including,
that's super interesting.
yeah, all like the every session will be recorded over the full 2 days, except for the X sessions would not be recorded, but all the sessions and the panels and everything too will all be videoed, and they will all be available after the conference. So we do have that option available for people who want to participate in that way.
Sorry, I'm making notes here, scribbling furiously.
If I speak too fast, let me know.
No. Thank you for that. I wasn't aware that there was a replay option. So not an actual live virtual, but a replay is a great thing to sign up for and to have.
Also because again, it's been very, very much requested, and also because of course there's 9 or 10 sessions happening at one time, so it'd be impossible for someone to attend all of them. So we are trying to make the replay option as well for people who, for example, couldn't attend a session because they were in a different session, and that's way they can kind of have everything at their fingertips.
So we've got a last 15 minutes here. I'll just do a recap for anyone in the room. We're chatting today with Anna Collins from Anna Collins Events about VOAtlanta and about their Euro VO retreats and anything else you'd like to ask or want to know about.
Oh, I was muted. Ha! Thank you. Thank you. Hi, so thank you for having me up. Hi, Anna. So apologies if I missed this earlier, but I just wanted to check where you where you promote the voiceover retreats so I can get more information on that.
That is actually on the JMC Demos main page, as well as annacollinsevents.com will tell you about upcoming events.
Sweet, thank you.
No problem.
Can you share with us, Anna, where the next one is?
Well,
and
the next
or
one,
is it sold out?
It is sold out. It actually, the Holland retreat sold out within 24 hours. And that one is taking place from the 22nd of May, from the 21st of May, sorry, until the 27th of May. And that one is sold out. We are currently working to confirm the ones for next year, and that will be announced in March of this year. We're doing one this year because we have VOAtlanta. So, and then next year we will do 2. We're planning to do 2 next year, yes. So we currently have the first one for next year. We just confirmed the venue, and that one will go on sale in March of this year. I did a lot of events during my corporate career, both working in HR, organizing everything from company Christmas parties, company retreats, company conferences, and also attending a lot of conferences and trade shows myself over my career. So kind of, happened organically after that. And I also was in charge of 17 facilities over Europe, Middle East, and Africa for about 7 years before I left that company. But I think having, like I said, the corporate world has its advantages, and I'm not dissing it in any way. But it's not always the most kind industry, and also you're often waiting for other people to kind of make decisions. And this way, we get to make the decisions, and we also get to create an event that we really want to go to, and that's trying not to be the run of the mill conference. We want to kind of make it, have an element of fun to it. So we actually have a few surprises in store for VOAtlanta that we hope people will actually enjoy, and also kind of make sure that everybody gets to do something that they like to do. For example, in the evenings, having a few different things happening in the evening than just necessarily one. And well, I can share one secret. Actually, we're going to be having some different entertainment things, but on top of the entertainment that we're going to be having, we're also going to be having on the Friday evening a board game night as well. So we'll actually be having one of the rooms converted into all different. So one person will actually be hosting with, I believe he's bringing 48 board games, or a part of the collection of 48 board games. to some people who don't necessarily want to be karaoke or do live band stuff. They maybe wanted to have like a little bit of a different evening. Then they could go and play board games for a while. But also kind of gives people a chance to continue networking and not feeling like, again, we're trying to have different options. We're also planning to have a lounge in the exhibitor hall so people can go there and have a coffee and maybe chat with somebody in the exhibitor hall, have their own lounge in the exhibitor hall, and then we'll also have another lounge as well. We'll have about 3 lounges total planned for throughout the different areas of the conference. And yeah, but definitely I can spill one secret is that we are planning a board game night. So we're very excited about that for people to have, maybe who don't necessarily want to sing karaoke or be in the party group, have a different kind of evening. So make sure that they also feel like they get to do something fun as well.
May I ask how many people you can hold, or how many people? I appreciate you probably haven't sold all your tickets yet, and I know that you have a great refund policy, which I'm absolutely thrilled by.
It's something that one of the first things we actually looked at when we were planning to take over is that we understand, and also it's not the cheapest conference, not the most expensive, obviously, but for people who are suddenly having a change in circumstances or have a family emergency, it can happen. Whether it's a family member, or a friend, or something too that's in trouble, or suddenly you have a change in circumstances or a change in scheduling or something too. We wanted to make it as least stressful as possible for people so that they don't feel like, okay, if I buy this, I'm never going to get the money back. Or, we're trying to make it for definitely 2 weeks before, and we've actually been really lucky that the ticket sales have been really brisk. We are anticipating at the moment, we're close to 600 people total.
There's a group for board games.
It should be fun.
So I had visions of an enormous twist mat. Do you have Twister in America? Lots of dots on the floor where you have to put different body parts on different colors. Conversation for another day.
We do. Yeah, we do.
That would be pretty big.
We've actually got a load of people in the chat. I'm going to try and list you. Laura, Craig, Nicole, Honey, Luthma, all asking about the virtual ticket, in inverted commas, which isn't what you said, but we're now wondering, would that be an option? And should they get in touch with you directly if they're interested in that, so it becomes a thing?
If they're interested, yes, they can definitely send a message to me. It's anna@VOAtlanta.me, or, that's my email for VOAtlanta. So yeah, if people have any questions about the virtual option, as we said, unless we have the demand for it, we won't really offer that as an option. At the moment, if we get a tremendous amount of demand for it, obviously, then we will.
I think it was more interested in the replay without having actually been to the conference.
Well, I would definitely be happy to, let people just pay like a one-time fee just for the replay. That would be fine too. And I could definitely say that would probably be after the conference though, because of course we have to compile all of the data and section it out and make sure it's listed properly. That will take a little bit of time. But yes, I would definitely have it up on the website, and people could definitely, pay the fee and then watch the replay. That would be no issue.
Lovely. Thank you very much for that.
Sure.
Stephanie says, karaoke and board games. I've got quite a few friends who are on the fence about coming. Now I know how to sway them.
Yeah, we're really lucky. On the Friday evening, we will definitely be having the karaoke. We also might be having a bit of live music as well. And we also have a gentleman who is actually going to be hosting the game night. So actually he's bringing his games, and he does this as part of his passionate hobby. And he requested to do this at VOAtlanta. And I said, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So we also have a headshot photographer who would also be there as well to help people take new headshots if they wanted in the exhibitor hall. And we have an amazing group of sponsors who are all kinds of different areas and stuff too. Our group of sponsors continues to grow, which has been amazing. So yeah, we're trying to make it, as of course, as much input as possible, but also give people a chance to relax and also just network. And that's kind of what we feel that the lounges will help to accomplish, because for women who are walking around in uncomfortable shoes, or for people to take a break or work on their laptop for a few minutes or charge their phone, so kind of just give them a little bit of a breathing space. We're trying to work with as many local businesses as possible. We have a local photographer who lives literally 15 minutes from the Hilton where we're hosting the event, and he will be offering headshots. He actually does this is his job, and he'll be offering headshots in the exhibitor hall. People can come, first serve basis. People can discuss what kind of headshots they want. We'll have a variety of props like microphones, headphones, things like this too. People can kind of pose with different things. And yeah, then he will offer, and then he'll just email you the proof gallery, and then yeah, you can select I believe 2 or 3 images that'll be finally edited and everything too, and then yeah, you'll receive that too. So, and that would be, of course, directly with the photographer there. So, and then you would deal directly with the photographer for payment. He has a little swipe machine. We're going to be announcing that one shortly, actually, on the website. He's also going to be coming up. We're just finalizing the details, but yes, we've definitely contacted him, and we're really excited. He does a really good job, and yeah, so we're really, if people want to have that or try it out or see if they like it, then it'll be in the exhibitor hall. So we're trying to make it, like different areas people don't always think about. So, and like, hey, you're here, let's do that, So we're like, why not? We're trying to put as many local businesses as we can, including like for the banners or for the other extra items that we need. We're trying to deal with as many local businesses as we can to help support the local community there.
Is there a list of, sorry, you mentioned the exhibitors hall a couple of times, and it hadn't occurred to me that there would be people there with stalls actually, selling their wares, as it were. Is that something that's on the website, sort of details of who will be there or how, who?
That will be up on the website shortly, as we're still getting sponsors in. And so we're still finalizing, as we're getting so many more, we're still spacing them out and seeing like which space they would like. We will have a full map though of the exhibitor hall and also which vendors are in which stall kind of thing. So
fantastic. Yes. That's very, very exciting.
We just can't publish it just yet because we're still getting more sponsors as we get closer. Yeah. So we don't want to publish it too early and then we can miss somebody. So
there's a lady in the chat saying, Lily Liu is asking, what's the conference hashtag to help you publicize it? Thank you very much. I came in late, so you might have already covered that. Is there a hashtag, VOAtlanta 2023?
We'll probably be, yes, hashtag VOAtlanta 2023. I don't believe we actually activated it yet, but yes, that's what it would be as we get closer.
Lovely. So. And in the last minute of the room, we've been joined by Hillary, who I'm hoping will come back another day and chat with us about the audiobook section of the trend.
My apologies, you guys. I wrote in my calendar, Clubhouse event. And then I didn't write what Clubhouse event. And I thought, and I looked at it and I was like, was that a mistake? I'm sorry. Typo. And then I just saw your message. So my apologies. Clubhouse event.
None needed.
Anyway, I just wanted to come. I know I'm late. Anna, I'm sorry I missed I missed your description about what's going on. And Anna's, the two of you, I would love to come back. I'm so sorry. I know you're wrapping up.
No issues at all. It's lovely to see you. And yes,
well, I'd be happy to join again if you need me to. So we can always talk more about the next things that are still in the works right now.
Lovely. So thank you very much indeed.
Well, I'm excited.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for having me, and hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wherever you are. And hopefully talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anna, for joining us. And thank you, Hillary, even though it was the last 60 seconds. It's great to hear you. And I'll get in touch about coming to see us another day and having
I'll be better with my notes.
No worries at all. Today we talked to Anna Alcasas Collins from Anna Collins Events, running VOAtlanta and the European VO Retreats. My takeaways: surround yourself with good, supportive people. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Anna Alcasas Collins and finding out all about VOAtlanta. Thank you very much for listening in and joining us on this podcast. Do remember to like and subscribe, it really helps. Further details are in the show notes, and if you'd like to work with me or need any further information, do get in touch. Thank you for listening.